Microsoft isn't standing pat. They're going all out with the Xbox Series X, and they've just made a pretty big announcement that I think everybody is going to be wanting to hear. Now, let's just be clear here. I think that Microsoft has, a long way to go for a lot of people's eyes, to be honest with you, and it's going to take a long time before we actually see, people I think maybe will never forgive Microsoft for the past, which is, I think, very unfortunate because they've gone on to offer some tremendous things to everybody. And, again, Microsoft is in a weird position where they have to kind of deal with these companies that have been around for much longer, both Nintendo and Sony. Nintendo, obviously, I have great respect for Nintendo, even if I'm not a huge fan of them anymore, in terms of, I still have a Switch, but I haven't played it in years, and realistically, the only way they can get me to pick up their next platform would be if they improve the online, where you don't need friends codes. I mean, it's 2023. If I'm playing with somebody, I want to be able to talk with them to, form strategy and whatever. It's a multiplayer game. I want to be able to add them if I want to, without having to exchange a bunch of friends and nonsense. Also, some kind of achievement system. I mean, let's just be real. If you don't like achievements, then it's not going to matter to you. But if you do like them, like me, then I think it would be cool to get something like that added. It's just a little meta game within the actual game itself, and I like that. So I think that it's well past a situation where that stuff is needed. But again, and then you also have Sony, who came out and they were the super cool thing or whatever at a particular point in time. And people grew up with that, and so they have all this kind of admiration for PlayStation, and it's just one of those things that will probably continue to go on for a long time. Now, when it comes down to it, I feel like we have Microsoft making a lot of strides and things like that, and these types of updates and this announcement is, I think, something that was much needed. They confirmed they're going to attend Gamescom. It joins Nintendo as the second of the big three to confirm attendance. Xbox and Bethesda will join the game floor for Gamescom 2023. No further details were announced, but the announcement marks the second of the big three console makers to confirm attendance after Nintendo announced back in April that it would be attending. Gamescom will run from August 23rd to 27th. Opening night, Alive, the kickoff showcase hosted by Jeff Keighley, will return on August 22nd. Xbox and Bethesda's largest release of 2023 will launch just 2 weeks after the show. Xbox's other big 2023 game, Forza Motorsport, will be released on October 10th for the Series X and S as well. Nintendo last attended the convention in 2019, when it primarily showcased games launching later that year. It also had a large number of booths on the show floor for consumers to try its games out. In its largest Nintendo Direct presentation, Nintendo announced a number of new games set for release by the end of 2023, including Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Super Mario RPG, which is a remake, and WarioWare Move It. PlayStation may not be attending Gamescom, however, according to the German industry publication Games Market, as Sony has no plans to attend the show. According to organizers at the German Games Industry Association, as the middle of March, 10% more companies had registered for this event than they did for the last year's event. And even if Sony does go, it's probably just going to be the indies and stuff like that. Let's just be real. Sony is much more on the indie side of things these days. And and I think it's important to kind of get these things out of the way, because I've mentioned this multiple times. I think it's pretty cool that Microsoft keeps everybody in the know about what's going on with the future of the brand and things like that. And you also have to look at it from other perspectives. When you buy a platform, right? Let's just say you buy a Xbox or Nintendo or PlayStation. It's their duty to keep everybody updated on what's coming out, and that's just a fact of the matter. You have to let everybody know, hey, what's coming out, when it's coming out, get people excited, make people feel good about the fact that they went with your particular product, right? As someone who owns, I couldn't care less about the Switch stuff. I'm not wasting time with the Switch, but when it comes down to it, I feel like, especially from the Microsoft and Sony, you've got to get some kind of idea on what's the roadmap. And Microsoft laid out the roadmap the last couple years. We're starting to get the big, huge games this year. Sony, on the other hand, they only have Spider-Man for covering a 10-month period, which I think is pretty ridiculous if you think about it. Here we have this company that is just raking in the cash, and yet they can't be bothered to give fans a peek at what's coming down the line. I mean, it's gotten so bad that you have people saying, you know, wait for this super secret second showcase this year, right? Like, why would there be a super secret second showcase? It doesn't make sense. They waited 2 years to give you that one. What on earth would they have been holding out for, right? That's my main kind of argument with that. So it doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense. You know, but Microsoft on the other hand has been pretty upfront with what they're going to be offering and the things coming out, which I think really makes a lot of sense. You know, you've got a lot of stuff coming. You've got Game Pass to push. You've got Starfield to push even more as well. I think that makes, you know, all the sense in the world to go out there and do that. So hopefully we continue to see Microsoft push boundaries and, you know, get people excited for the games and things like that, that are coming out. We definitely need to see more of this stuff like in the future and things. I hope anyway that Microsoft gets all these things kind of pushed out. And, you know, again, Microsoft, I get it that they have a lot to make up for the future, all that kind of stuff. But I still think that they can do, you know, some really, really cool stuff, and that people can still get incredibly excited about this. You know, this is like the type of thing that I think they definitely could get people excited for in the future. You know, that's what I hope to see. I want to see Microsoft get everybody amped up and excited about what's coming, and this is exactly why they need to do that, you know. So hopefully we can get that worked out. I hope that we see that sometime soon. You know, seeing them be there at Gamescom, they're going to be at Tokyo Game Show as well. Maybe they'll have something. I don't really particularly care. They'll probably show something at the Game Awards. But you look at Sony in comparison, and Sony isn't really doing a good job of getting me hyped. I haven't turned on my PlayStation since I beat God of War Ragnarok in November of last year. So you guys can kind of do the math on that, with exactly kind of what's coming and, you know, what I think of that. And I think, you know, again, Microsoft is doing a much better job at getting people excited for the future, and, you know, they've kind of nailed that to this point, and that's an exciting prospect for me personally. I can't wait to see what else they have. I want to see more from, you know, everything that they have. That's just the fact of the matter, and hopefully you guys are with me in that boat. Like, it's not necessarily a knock. I don't hate PlayStation. I want PlayStation to be competitive. I want Microsoft to be competitive, but at some point we've got to see the roadmap, right? Like, we can't just sit there and go, okay, well, one game for the next. I mean, we didn't even accept that with Microsoft. Yeah, Microsoft didn't have games, but they at least had games announced, which I think is the big major difference between the two. So let me know what you guys think. I am, as always, fascinated by the thought process of each and every one of you. Thanks so much for watching. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, Crep Gamer 'em up, Crep Gamer out.